Yeah, just I know everyone's eagerly awaiting some of the roster moves. So we're still working through it. I could see us making some moves today, and then, as you know, we got to have the rest of them done by tomorrow at 4. With that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. We are open for questions. Please use the official raise hand function to indicate that you have a question. The first question will come from Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Coach, just wondering, did Kadero, make your decision making that much harder by the nice game that he had? And is that one of the places where you guys are having to make some tough decisions on that sort of 6th receiver spot, whether or not to keep 6 or how to handle that?
Yeah, America, I think they're all tough decisions. You look across the roster, and I think the guys have been competing all the way back to when we first got together in the spring. And that's the great part of this job is they get to compete against each other and then compete against another team. So specifically to Cordero, obviously made a nice play there in the end zone or just prior to the end zone, and all those guys they're continuing to battle, which you'd love to see.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick is next.
Hey, Kevin, how would you describe the communication process between the coaching staff and Andrew when it comes to these roster decisions?
Yeah, I think it's really productive conversations that have been going on really throughout training camp. We've kind of met weekly and taken the pulse of different people and talked through things. And then Andrew, ultimately, he makes the decisions and he has a lot to consider in those decisions, but I think he does a great job of listening to make sure that he can make some informed decisions.
How important is it for the coaches to feel like they are listened to?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else in any business. You want to believe that you have a voice in this, and our coaches do. They spend every waking minute with the players in these meeting rooms out on the field. So the coaches have great insight into the players. And then, like I mentioned, though, the coaches also understand that it's Andrew's decision. And I think he takes in all the information and will make the decision that's right for the Cleveland Browns.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Daryl Ryder, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, I'll ask you. I know you'll say this is a question for Andrew, but I'm going to ask you because he's a little busy right now. How much because you have a surplus in some positions with some of these decisions that you have to make, you're probably going to cut guys that, frankly, you don't want to cut. How much does the trade market factor into some of these decisions? And then also, in regard to trying to trade guys versus just letting them go?
Good question for Andrew. No, I'd tell you, Daryl, Andrew and his staff do a great job of working the roster for 365 days. I mean, they're constantly looking at ways to upgrade, whether it's via trade or otherwise. So it's all part of it. I told the team last night, I would love to keep everybody. I wish they relaxed those rules and we could keep everybody, but that's not the nature of this beast.
And I wanted to ask you about Malik McDowell. He seemed to show up last night and play well, just watching on TV. Just what are your thoughts on him, and considering he hasn't played, I believe, since 2016?
Yeah, real excited for what Malik was able to do this preseason. And I really go back to when he first got here in rookie minicamp and first learning our techniques and our schemes and those type of things. And then you see a player gradually getting better. So he did have some moments last night, also very physical at the point of attack.
Thank you, Daryl. Tom Withers is next.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Coach. I hope you can sneak me through to the practice squad this year. Hey, how'd you guys come out health-wise last night?
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. As you know, nicks and bruises and that type of thing. But I think we have 3 days this week. The players have mandated from the league 3 days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we'll start our preparations on Monday of next week.
And I know, Kevin, these are tough days for a front office and a coaching staff when you've had guys kind of give everything they've had for a couple of months and you got to say goodbye. How difficult is that to do, to kind of wish these guys well and send them on their way, some of them?
Yeah, it's really hard, Tom. It's never easy. In any year, it's never easy. because it's also a relationship business. And like I mentioned earlier, we spend a lot of time together. And you get to know people on a personal level. You see them from my perspective. I see them working so hard on the practice field, doing everything that I've asked them to do. So that's the hard part when you can't keep everyone. But I wish that the guys that we can't keep, I hope they catch on elsewhere.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Nate Ulrich, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, I just want to ask you about Anthony Schwartz's preseason debut with the 19 snaps. What did you see from him? What's your big takeaway?
Yeah, that was good, Nate, that we could get him out there. Coming back, he worked hard in rehab, slowly worked his way into individual and team periods. And then to get out there, that was kind of our plan, get him around 15 to 20 snaps, get the game speed of the thing. We got the ball in his hands. He drew a DPI early in the ball game. So really good to see him out there, and then something that we can hopefully grow upon.
Is that confidence that he can be a factor for you in week one?
Yeah, I think all those type of things, Nate, remain to be seen. I just think it's really good for a rookie, a young player, to get out there in the game setting and make some plays. I think that was it's a good part of the progression.
Thanks, Nate. Jeff Shadell, we'll go to you.
I want to ask you about two players, Kevin. First, Chase, did he hurt himself missing that extra point? And James Hudson, how is he a little raw, do you think?
Jeff, are you saying, did he physically hurt himself?
No, I mean, did he hurt his chances? So where are you in the kicking situation?
Yeah, I'd kind of tell you, with every single one of these roster spots, these guys are fighting to be one of those 53 Chases right there. He's at a really good camp. So, obviously you don't like to see him miss. We all know that. But he's working really hard. And then James Hudson, I'd tell you, he works often with Coach Peters, Coach Callahan. They're working pre-practice, post-practice. He's getting better. I thought he had some really good moments throughout this preseason, had moments that I know he can learn from. And that's part of it with all these rookies, is these reps are so valuable. And even the ones that maybe you don't love, that the kid was wrong or didn't use the right technique, you can learn from those. And I think that's what I'm seeing from James, is he's learning from all of these reps.
Thank you, Jeff. Matt Fontana has our next question.
Yeah, Kevin, I know this is a hard time, right, with the cuts, but is it any easier this year, going that it's year two with you and Andrew and all the coaches came back? Is it any easier this year going through cuts last year?
No, I wouldn't tell you it's any easier, Matt. I think from a organizational standpoint, with Andrew's staff, the coaching staff, just our building in general, obviously being around each other now going into year two, I think you certainly can streamline your process a little bit more. You've been through this type of process already once, but it doesn't make it easier from a personal standpoint, and it doesn't make it easy just period, because these are tough decisions that you have to make with the roster.
And I know the roster flexibility is key, but do you have conversations with Andrew on just sheer numbers? A lot of people say, 8 linemen versus 9, or they're going to need to keep so many corners. Anything you can let us know just on those conversations, just on numbers?
Yeah, sure. You have all those conversations, and you go around the depth chart, up and down, left and right. And you're just trying to keep the right 53 and then get some really good players in here in the practice squad that can help us and maybe develop and help us this season potentially.
Thanks, Matt. Back to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Kevin, did you get any little bit of insight into how defenses might try to defend Baker a little bit this year? It seemed like they were trying to get their hands up in his face and maybe kind of menace him a little bit that way with a couple batted down passes.
Yeah, I don't know, Mary Kay. I mean, obviously the defense is always going to try and get their hands on the ball when they stop the rush for whatever reason. You'll see that's from different teams. I don't know that that's a thing that teams are going to try to do. I would tell you, when they're trying to bat the passes down, they're not rushing. They've stopped the rush oftentimes, which is a good thing. So we'll see. It's something we coach as well. When you feel like the quarterback has hit his back foot and the ball's coming out, and you're not at the quarterback to get your hands up. So those are the type of things that are really good for Baker and Case to feel, because you got to sometimes slide one spot or the other, or change your arm angle, those type of things to complete a pass.
And the touchdown to Cadero was obviously one of those situations. How good of a throw was that to be able to lift that ball over Walker like that?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good throw. I thought his technique, some of the nuances that he's putting into his technique, if you will, he's really grown in some of the things that he's doing out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick, you're up.
Hey, Kevin, you guys have been fortunate, but I keep seeing cases around the league of guys going on the COVID list. And I saw Bruce Arians talking about some of the protocols that they're using. How much of it is is it a focus for you guys? And have you used any of the protocols from last year to, keep guys kind of separated?
Yeah, it is definitely a focus, Scott. I would tell you, we're just going to follow the rules, follow the protocols, and whatever they allow us to do, we're going to do to make sure we keep each other safe, keep our families safe, et cetera.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Tony Grossi, go ahead.
Kevin, I was wondering, how did you and Mike Prefer view the 56-yard attempt? Was that a negative, or was there some positive you gleaned off of that? Or just he missed it, but still an inch away, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenging kick. I don't know what the percentage is that you're expecting to make on 56, but we wanted to put our field goal unit, not just Chase, wanted to put the whole unit in a tough spot. Snapper, holder, the entire blocking group. So that was a challenge. It was close, but when you miss that 3-foot putt doesn't go in, Tony, you don't get to count it. So it was a miss, but again, it was just part of the challenge and the evaluation.
And now that you're on to Kansas City in your practice preparations, do you expect Odell to join the first team in team situations?
Yeah, I think I'd tell you, with all the guys, we're just going to continue to talk to the medical staff and progress every single one of the guys, however appropriate. And really, the way we're looking at it, Tony, is we have 3 good days this week. We won't necessarily turn all of our attention to Kansas City. We still have a lot that we need to work on in regards to us that we need to clean up. But certainly those preparations will be coming sooner than later.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, we're going to take one more. Marla Ridenauer.
Yeah, Kevin, I just wanted to ask you about Davion Davis's touchdown. Was that a touchdown?
Called it a touchdown. Yeah, Marla, he does a great job when the ball's in the air on those contested catches. He's done that over the course of his career. He was very productive again last night. Practices very hard. He's a very conscientious player, studies, works at his craft. So it was great to see him go up and make a play on their DB.
And one more thing about the kicking situation. Since you only have one, can you afford to have none for a day or two? You know what I mean? Depending on how this shakes out.
Yeah, I would tell you all of those type of things. Andrew and the crew are working through, and we'll see how it shakes out. And we got till tomorrow at 4.